All right, if you were with me a couple of minutes ago, I completely deleted that video. Sorry about that. So welcome back. I'm Mary from Hail Mary Food of Grace, and I am going to make a delicious flat iron steak for you today. And I'm in my kitchen. My kids are at school. That never happens because, again, my kids are 5 and 7, and my youngest is in preschool, so he's always around, which is great, but he's a lot of work, and doing on-camera videos isn't always the easiest for me to do. I am going to make my flat iron steak in this incredible Hestan Nano steel pan. It has an aluminum core, which allows for distributing heat evenly. And if you cook at home, you know that when you're cooking, you need the entire pan to be at the same temperature, which is so important when you're cooking, because let's say you're cooking chicken or you're cooking steak and it has even temperature on the bottom, and yet your pan, one side gets hotter than the other. And of course, what happens? One side of your chicken gets brown and the other side is left behind. So of course, what we're going to do is heat the pan on a medium temperature. If you have a great ventilating system, crank that on up to high. But if you are like me and you're talking on camera, or you are living in a tiny apartment and you can't crank up that temperature, make sure that you're just cooking at about a medium low. Now, one of the reasons why I love a flat iron steak is you can truly cook the entire steak on top of your stove. There's no reason to put it in the oven. A lot of you out there are probably saying, Mary, I love to grill my steaks. And I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But not everybody has a grill, A, and there's no reason why a good steak can't be cooked in a pan. In fact, I actually love a steak that's cooked in a pan. So what I have going on over here is that in this amazing Hestan pan that I'm cooking with, I can feel the even heat. And my temperature, you can't see it right now, but it's on a medium-high temperature. And this baby is hot. And the heat is really evenly distributed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the pan from the stove, and I'm going to spray it with nonstick spray. Of course, it's aerosol, so we want to make sure that we do that away from the flame as to not catch your house or the pan on fire. Of course, move the pan or the nonstick spray away from the stove after you're using it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to season our flat iron steak with salt and pepper. Now, one of the frequently asked questions is, do we season the steak on both sides? The answer is yes, yes, yes. So we're going to make sure the steak is seasoned with salt and with pepper. Now, if you're like me, I only like pepper on one side, but certainly I like salt on both sides. If you were looking at my pan right now, you would see that the oil is extremely hot. It's very fluid. Can you hear that sizzle? That is not always on TV, ladies and gentlemen, just in my kitchen, because this is real cooking. Again, we're going to season the second steak with salt and pepper. Now, one of the other things you want to make sure when you're sauteing meat in your pan is that you don't overcrowd the pan. You want to make sure that meat has lots of room to brown and caramelize. Now, one of the things that people always make a mistake about is that they touch their food in their pan. This is especially true with mushrooms. I'm sure all of you out there, if you've ever made mushrooms at home, the number one mistake with making a bad sauteed mushrooms is that you start moving and cooking the mushrooms too quickly. Of course, mushrooms can be on high heat. They can have lots of oil. But the second you put them on there, you really want to make sure that you have a low to medium heat and that you just leave them alone. The same is true for steaks. Steaks, once you put them on the pan, as long as your temperature is pretty hot, you want to leave them until they have a nice golden brown color. You can start off low and then go high, or you can start off really high for a very seared, very crunchy exterior. But the main point is we want to give it really good sear marks And we also, at this point, because we're only cooking it on the stovetop, is we want to make sure that we cook it through. So any type of steak that's really, really thin is going to cook anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes. If you're doing a minute steak, something that's like a sirloin at the grocery store, something that's really paper thin, and it doesn't have a lot of lots of fibers, and it's a very tender piece of meat, it's going to actually cook a lot faster, and you're going to want it very medium rare. So those can actually cook in about 2 to 3 minutes. So this delicious steak, which I wish you could smell it right now because it's so good, I can see the steam. I can see that there's caramelization on the exterior of the pan. Gorgeous. And the other thing that you're going to notice once I start showing you a little bit close up is that the steak is actually, you're going to start seeing the temperature and the cooking process going up on the edges of the steak, which is a really good indication that you're getting somewhere. So what you want to see is about almost half of that being cooked, which we're not really there. So great things. This is where regular television, they would cut to a commercial and then they would come back and show you that beautiful thing. But because I'm on Facebook Live, I'm just stuck. So let me talk to you about a few things that are going on in my world. First of all, I'm very happy to announce that I have been teaching cooking classes in Los Angeles, California at the King's Roost in Silver Lake. King's Roost is one of the biggest whole grain providers in Los Angeles. There are all kinds of milled grains that you wouldn't find anywhere else, and they actually grind them in the store with you to take home and make beautiful breads. So King's Roost, I'm giving you a shout out here. So my classes, on Saturday morning, I actually have a baby food class coming up for first-time mothers who want to feed their babies and don't know where to begin. So that one is because I'm a mom and because I felt completely clueless as to what I was doing with my baby as far as baby food. The other class I have coming up is a biscuit class. This will be my second biscuit class. And I had a lot of really great bloggers that attended last time. If you go on my Instagram account at Hail Mary Food of Grace, you'll see some fantastic examples of what the students can cook. I've also done a really great donut class, baked, not fried, sorry. And it's actually a cake donut, not a fried donut. All right, so we're getting there. I'm going to turn on the fan for a half a second, so I'll just compete with the fan for a minute. Alright, so as you can see, I moved the steaks around a little bit. Now the reason why I did that was because I wanted to make sure that there was caramelization happening in the middle. Now this has nothing to do with the pan. It has to do with a little bit of the oil that was in the pan. I need to make sure that is actually coating the steak. The other reason is because when a steak cooks, you'll probably notice this in the future, the steak actually starts popping up because the muscle, once it starts cooking, those muscles actually shrink in, which can sometimes cause the steak to puff up a little bit. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in the middle of the steak. All right. Gorgeous. Woo! This is real. Really real. Alright, now, one of my favorite tricks about cooking steak, and especially cooking steak to a medium rare, is that once you start seeing the red juice start pooling on top of the meat, you know that it's medium rare. What am I talking about? Okay, so the juice is inside of the steak. What happens is once the steak starts cooking, the juices are actually, the pores are opened and the juice comes, oh, hi Lindsay, thanks for watching. So what happens is those pores are actually opening up and the juices are coming out through the top. And that is your indication to know that it's medium rare. Now, when you're cooking your steak and you notice that all those juices have actually evaporated and gone, you are well on your way to medium and medium well and well done. If you are serving well done steak, go ahead and serve A1 sauce. And that's from my friend Jess Kent, who is out there, I'm sure, watching as well. And Jess always did an incredible job waitressing when she and I worked together a million years ago. And every time she served a well done steak, she kind of whipped out of her pocket A1 sauce and ketchup. You know, you're taking out all the juiciness and all the flavor. So again, I'm watching these steaks. Now the first one was a little bit thinner, and again, the edges were touching, it kind of puffed up on the middle, but I can fix that and I'll show you how. Okay, so, all right, here I am. I'm gonna come and show you the steak. All right, can you see that? I don't think I have enough light. But if you can see a little bit, this one has a little bit of the red coming up on top, as does this one. So we're on our way to medium rare. Now, like I mentioned, this one doesn't have as great of a color as the other one. So how do you fix that? Well, I'm going to immediately add butter to the pan, because what happens to butter when you add it to a pan that's really hot? It immediately goes from like this liquid state to this very brown caramelized state. So by doing that, when I add it to the pan, it will actually, those brown colors will actually stick to the steak and give it that brown color that you're looking for. That is $1 million trick, by the way. That will impress anybody in your house as a guest or whatnot. Okay, so where am I in life? All right, so I'm gonna add the butter. It's gonna get really smoky again. Because butter has a lower burning point than olive oil. And the other thing that when you add butter to a pan, I'm sure you all know this, but just in case you didn't, butter definitely has a lower burning point, and once it's added to the pan, the fond from the bottom of the pan actually sticks to the steak. So it looks like we have a question. $1 million trick for sure. Yeah, you want to see this? Wow, watch how great this is. All right, you should have seen it before, and now look. Gorgeous. Right? So there you go. You add color to your steak in like a matter of minutes. And that's a great tip, especially when you just kind of screw up big time. Or you overcrowd your pan. Oh, that's another one. When you overcrowd your pan and you have too many steaks and nothing gets brown, that's another way to solve the problem. Ooh, and if you're doing soups and stews and braises, like when you're doing, I don't know, beef bouillon or like a beef stew, if your meat is not browned at all, just add a little bit of butter and you can brown it all up. All right, so this is so pretty. And now it is almost done. All right. Now what are we gonna do with the steaks? Well, I don't know. I have parsley, I have rosemary, and I have thyme. So I was thinking, yes, butter does make everything better. Thanks, Lindsay. I agree. So I'm gonna take off the steaks, and as you guys know, steaks need to rest for 5 or 10 minutes. The reason is because when steaks rest, all of the very tense fibers that are in the steak actually relax, and it also raises in temperature. So again, it makes that steak more tender. So that's super important because nobody wants to eat a tough steak. Okay, so in the pan, I've got delicious fond left over, and I'm gonna cut up a shallot or shallot, like my wonderful kids' favorite cartoon, Sarah and Duck, on Netflix. Again, they're not paying me to say that, but they truly do love Sarah Duck. British cartoon. Alright. So I'm going to cut the shallot into gorgeous circles and peel off any gross skin, because shallot skin is always so hard to take off. And now, how do you remove that fond, you're asking? Well, you add more oil, and you want colder oil. And the colder oil will help you remove all of the fond. All right, now I better add some more shallots. I'm sure you're out there wondering, when is this video going to be over? To be honest, I have no idea. Because I just started without any direction. Just a bunch of steaks in a really great pan, and I thought I'm going to go for it. All right. So, in my makeshift pan, or cutting board, I'm going to dump in my shallots. Now, if you're watching, which I hope you are, the most important thing to do when you're cooking any kind of onion or shallot is to cook it on a really low temperature. If you cook it hot, what you're going to do is you're going to burn the sugars on the outside and it's going to be raw on the inside. So the lower the temperature, the better. Oopsie. Shut out some onions there. All right. Shallots make you cry, or they make me cry. All right. Now it's up to you how much you want to cook the shallots. I kind of like them medium soft, medium crunchy. And then after that, I'm going to turn the fire on low, and I'm going to add some vinegar to the pan. Can you see that? I don't think so. But maybe you can. I don't know. And again, this is your opportunity to remove the fond. And what you're going to do is you're going to cook out some of that vinegar flavor. Woo! And you're going to keep that sweetness from the red wine vinegar. Now, you can either do two things. Are you ready? So the first thing you can do is you can strain the shallots out and keep it as a red wine vinegar. Or the second thing you can do is keep the shallots in and have it a red wine vinegar sauce. Oh, hi, Stephanie. I'm cooking away. Make sure your boys watch this, Stephanie, because then they can cook steak for you with a shallot red wine vinegar sauce. All right. So after you add the shallots, the red wine, we're going to finish off with cold butter. Now, when you're making a pan sauce, the number one thing you want to do is remove it from the heat. God, I'm teaching you so much today. So remove it from the heat, because if the pan is on direct heat, what's going to happen is the butter is actually going to start melting too quickly, and it's going to become, you know, like melted butter. But what we want it to do is kind of stay more gelatinous in consistency and more of a saucy texture. All right, so then we're gonna swirl. So I'm talking to Stephanie right now. She's asking a question. Absolutely, they can cook you dinner while they're visiting. Yes, they can. Or vice versa. Or I'll teach them to cook, so then when they come home, they can teach you to cook. All right, so as you can see, I'm swirling the butter. And, ooh, another learning moment. All right, see the red juices coming up on top? That means it's medium rare. So, here we go. And I'm swiveling. Now, if your sauce breaks, which this can always happen, it can happen very easily, all you're gonna do is add another pat of really cold butter to the pan, and what's gonna happen is it'll just make it thick again. All right. So we've got our sauce, we've got our tools. Okay, knives. Ooh, I might as well talk about while I'm here. Wusthof paring knives, they're my favorite. If you need a paring knife, please buy a Wusthof paring knife. They come in 3-packs, and when they're dull and they don't work anymore, just get rid of them. They're like 20 bucks for like 3. They're amazing. And so sharp. My mom cut her hand when she was visiting. Okay, so the sauce is done. And then everybody has parsley in their refrigerator, right? Hope you don't. Just use dried. Dried parsley will work as well. All right. And then just chop it up. Make it look delicious. All right, now I have to do this so that everybody can see it at home as I'm pouring it. So I'm gonna tilt the camera. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Very low production value here. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Now, all right, so then we add a little bit of parsley. And voila. Except for I spilled some. Maybe I can, whoopsie. Man, no. Turning back around. Okay, ta-da. There's the beautiful steak. Flat iron steak, 7 to 10 minutes. Delicious, easy, salt and pepper, shallots, red wine vinegar, parsley, and of course butter. Thanks for watching, and I hope that if you're in the Los Angeles area, you come to King's Roost and you take one of my upcoming classes. There will be donuts, there will be pasta, there will be crepes, there will be, what else am I teaching? Biscuits, that's the other one. Oh, and the baby food class, because I was a very isolated first-time mother, and so I want to reach out and help all of those new moms who need a little helping hand and a little sociability. And I've got lots of new products that I found at the International Homes and Housewares show in Chicago. One's from Microplane. And, ooh, oh, don't forget, oh my gosh, this is really exciting. Sorry, I just keep going on. Okay. So the new issue of Traditional Home Magazine, for those of you who don't know out there, I'm the resident chef for Traditional Home Magazine. Oh, hi Victoria Ketchum, hi. So, newest issue of Traditional Home Magazine. I am completely excited about the food and the recipes and everything that I get to offer all of you. And if you have any questions or problems about the recipes, please, please, please call me, let me know, because I love these recipes so much. And the featured host is Kim Whitman out of Dallas, Texas, and she is incredible. So anyway, hold on, I want to see. Okay, yes, everybody should come to LA. Come to LA, come to my classes, come visit, come follow. Mwah. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and pass this along if anybody needs to know how to make a really good steak. And I'd also like to thank Hestan for sharing their Nano, oh God, I gotta get the name right, the Nano Bond technology pan. This thing, I should wear it around my neck. It's so pretty. Stainless steel, aluminum all the way through, even heating, balanced handle and pan. Really, really great investment. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you check in for more great things. I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys, thanks for watching.